Hey, what's going on, guys? The typical Colby Covington interview just dropped on Submissive Radio. People let me know immediately. They're like, Joe, you got to check out this interview. It literally just came out. And it always comes out. You know it's coming when a relevant welterweight fight happens because Colby Covington, instead of actually fighting, instead of actually winning, instead of actually earning a title shot, he just waits until someone relevant in the welterweight division has a fight, and then he does an interview with Submissive Radio to keep his name relevant. In this interview, honestly, usually I don't enjoy listening to these interviews. This interview was a pure joy to listen to because Colby Covington humiliated himself in this interview, coping over the Belal Muhammad title victory against Leon Edwards at UFC 304, and said a whole lot of outlandish things and basically begged for a title shot. He thinks he's going to get a title shot now. He's like, new champion that I haven't lost to? Time for my 4th title shot. I'm definitely going to send that guy to the 7th layer of hair. So he's basically begging for a title shot. A little bit of an exaggeration on that. And then at the end of the interview, the guy that he's essentially calling out or begging to fight, if he doesn't get a title shot, is one of the most humiliating call-outs I have ever seen. And this is a guy that he's been kind of calling out for the last year or so. Because, you know, to earn a title shot, he needs an easy fight. So he's looking for someone who's either 40 years old on a losing streak or someone in a smaller weight class. You know, that's typical Colby Covington. But let's jump right into it. Before we get into anything, look, I make jokes about Submissive Radio and whatnot, but this interview just came out. I'm using clips from their interview. I will link the full interview down below if you care to go check it out. I'm only going to show you a couple minutes here. Go support them. They're making money from their channel and whatnot. But let's jump right into it because he starts talking about the Belal Muhammad Leon Edwards fight. And he claims he didn't see it. Well, you know he was watching this fight. But some of the things he says here is just absolutely laughable. And I know someone's going to be down in the comments, say, Joey, he's playing a character. At this point, this is who he is. This is his public persona. This is the way he acts. And actually in this interview, his persona slips a little bit. And he has a bit of honesty. I saved that clip. We're going to look at that a little bit later. But the way he talks about Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad right here in the beginning is just absolutely laughable.
Yeah. I can tell you who lost, and that's the fans, man. I feel bad for the fans that they got robbed of some entertainment and, you know, the highest level fight of 2 bums. So I feel
he feels sorry for the fans. Did he watch his fight against Leon Edwards back at UFC 296 December last year when he went out there and absolutely refused to fight, shit the bed, and then Leon Edwards threw low volume and dominated the fight because Colby refused to fight? And then afterwards, Colby claimed injury and then claimed also he was robbed by the judges because of his political beliefs. Yeah, I'm sure the fans were, you know, you feel sorry for the fans for Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad, which was actually a good fight.
I feel bad for the fans, but Belal, the racist juice monkey, won. Now that he finally made his first check off the prelims, he can finally fix that dildo that's on his face or maybe get his teeth fixed. Those things are nasty and rotten, but that's only if Ali doesn't take all his money because we know his scumbag manager is, you know, he's a thief. He's probably stealing most of his money. Just like when he double dipped when he had 2 of his fighters fight. He had Gilbert Burns turn around on a short turnaround off a fight to fight Belal, the racist juice monkey. So, you know, the people that lost, you know, are the fans, and I feel.
So again, talking about the fans' loss, and look, what I love about this is this is a hilarious cope. He's so upset that Belal Muhammad won this title. Belal Muhammad did something that Colby could not achieve in 3 attempts. 3 attempts, 2 of them arguably he didn't even deserve. Belal did it in 1. Belal will go down in history. You will remember the name as an undisputed UFC welterweight champion. Colby cannot say the same. So instead, now he's got to trot out the excuses. Yeah, the juice monkey. The juice monkey. Oh, yeah, Belal's on steroids. You know, a week ago, you know, for a lot of fans, and Colby months ago and whatnot when he's doing these interviews. Yeah, Belal's a bum. He's slow. Even for Leon Edwards, he's slow. You know, he's not good, and he's definitely going to lose. The second he wins, now all of a sudden he's on steroids. It was hilarious to hear Colby say that because, yeah, there's no way Belal could be champion unless he was on steroids. I do everything right. I didn't win the belt. I fought 3 times, lost cleanly all 3 times. One of those times I got stopped. One of those times I didn't bother fighting at all. So it's just hilarious to hear the common tropes that a lot of like the trollish type fans are trotting out now. Belal's on steroids. All right, let's jump ahead because, look, again, I know I told you guys, submissive radio is just kind of an embarrassment. And this answer, he finishes the answer with what he was doing instead of watching the fight. And then the follow-up question here is an absolute embarrassment to media.
I've been in Nashville just enjoying time and learning more about Bitcoin because I do believe that's our future currency. And I want to see it go to the moon.
I want to see a Colby Covington coin, man. I'll buy into that. Let me ask.
He wants to see a Colby Covington coin. He'll buy into that. This is supposed to be media. Look, this is exactly what's wrong with media in general. Everybody that does these interviews are scared of the fighters because they need their access. They can't say anything. Look at him sucking up to him. Yeah, I wish there was a Colby Covington cryptocurrency. I would totally buy it. Look, I want to say some things that'll get me demonetized on YouTube, okay? That's how embarrassing that line was, and I was like, you know what? This is almost worthless to include in a video, but you got to point this stuff out. This is exactly what's wrong with media. All the guys who do interviews, outside of maybe Ariel Helwani, but he does it to a certain extent too, they basically suck up to these guys because they need their access to make a living. So they're not even real media. They're glorified publicists. And Submissive Radio has been a glorified publicist for Colby Covington. And you'll see it throughout this interview. So we're going to skip ahead. And, I mean, this just proves it even more. Because here he's asked about, oh, yeah, now that Belal's champion, essentially I'm paraphrasing, but now that Belal's a champion, you can find a new feud to get another title shot. This question, I don't think I actually show you the question. I just show you the answer here. He's alluding to Colby getting another title shot. It's crazy. And Colby just starts going off about Belal because he's trying to talk his way into a title shot here.
Only time that Belal, the racist juice monkey, wanted to fight me was when I already had a title fight signed, sealed, and delivered.
Not true. Not true at all. I mean, Belal wanted it multiple times, but just for example, Belal wanted to fight Colby on the same card that Colby was a backup for Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards. I believe it was UFC 286. Belal was calling out Colby for years. Said, I'll fight Colby anytime, anywhere. I don't care if it's on short notice. Colby's ducked Hamzat. Colby ducked Ian Machado Gary just recently in front of everyone's eyes. So to act like Belal ducked him and now all of a sudden he wants the Belal fight is just hilarious.
That's the only time he wanted to fight me. Otherwise, he's never said my name because he knows he's a little bitch and he knows what I would do to him. He's a pussy. If I cross paths with him, he won't be champion anymore. He won't be a man anymore. I will take his man card, and we know he's still a virgin, so it's not like anybody's going to fuck him because he's just a
imagine looking at another man and be like, yeah, look at the way he looks. He's definitely a virgin. I mean, talk about insecure. Insecure. Colby pays prostitutes to pose in Instagram videos with him. Bare minimum OnlyFans models. I don't even think his own family likes him, to be quite honest. He's like, yeah, Belal's a virgin. If we cross paths, I'm going to take his man card. Yeah, good one. Good one.
Disgusting. I mean, look at his teeth. Look at that dildo on his face. He's just a disgusting excuse of a human. So
he's looking at Belal through a lens of does he want to fuck Belal or not? He's like, yeah, look at his teeth. Look at his nose. This man's talking about his attraction to Belal Muhammad. What a complete and utter embarrassment. And he's doing this because he's praying. He's praying, please, Dana, give me another shot. Give me one more shot. I'm almost 40 years old. I've already had 3 shots at the title. Just one more, Daddy Dana. What an embarrassment this guy is, talking about another man's physical features. You're obsessed with another man's looks. Talk about embarrassing. I think Colby might be attracted to Belal, to be quite honest.
I'd love to fight him. I hope that fight happens. I'll do whatever it takes to get to that. I'm going to talk to the UFC, see what I need to do to get to that fight. But,
So basically maybe, do some more political propaganda for Donald Trump. Maybe that's what he's going to do to try to get the fight. Because the damn sure ain't fighting the contenders. Damn sure ain't fighting contenders like Ian Machado Gary or Shavkat Rakhmonov or JDM. Everyone that he says is a bum, but yet have better wins than him. He damn sure he didn't call out a single contender. He in this interview, and I'm going to show you a couple clips, it had to be pride out of him to talk about Shavkat Rakhmonov. And the only reason he talked about Shavkat is because he knows Shavkat's next in line for the title. And he even says some hypocritical things about Shavkat. It's just, I mean, it just gets more embarrassing as it goes. And in a second, he talks about how he would match up with Belal. And this, I mean, this shit just gets more humiliating by the second.
I think it looks like how Vicente looked against him the first time they fought when he KO'd him. You know,
how would you look against Belal Muhammad? Or how would a fight with you and Belal look? He says I would knock him out like Vicente Luque. When has Colby knocked anyone out? Ever? Has he even ever rocked anyone on the feet? Damn sure not in the last 5 years. So the fact that he's gonna knock out Belal is hilarious, dude. This dude would get completely washed by Belal. Belal would dump him on his head and probably KO him.
You know, he put him out cold. He's not going to take me down. He's not going to be able to put a wrestling game plan on me. His striking sucks. I mean, look, he couldn't even finish Gilbert Burns when Gilbert was on one arm and Gilbert was on a short camp because he.
Yeah, Gilbert just came out of a fight, had a full camp. Belal came off the couch injured and took a 5-round fight and won that fight to get a title shot and fought an actual contender. Keep in mind, Colby doesn't have a single ranked win on his entire resume right now. A current ranked welterweight on his resume, and he's ducking Ian Machado Gary.
Just fought 3 weeks before that. He had to do 2 weight cuts, 2 quick turnarounds because his sleazeball manager, Ali, talked him into and convinced him into, oh, this is a title eliminator, when it was never a title eliminator. I was obviously already fighting for the title and guaranteed the next title shot. So that
it wasn't a title eliminator. Well, let's fact check that. Here's the fight he's talking about, Gilbert Burns right here. This is Belal Muhammad's resume. Who did he fight next? Oh, he fought Leon Edwards. So that would mean this would be a title eliminator. Now, Colby did get the first title shot because he has Dana White privilege. But just to act like he didn't get his title shot off of that, which, I mean, it was up in the air, but still to say, yeah, he fought Gilbert Burns and he was dumb and he shouldn't have took that. Like, what? What are you even saying, bro? Dude's just desperately trying to call it anything to try to get a soundbite, to try to get a title shot that he does not deserve. The fans don't even care about Colby anymore. In the last video I did about him, we looked through his numbers for his interviews for the views that Submissive Radio was getting, and they weren't good at all. They weren't good at all, believe me. So the fans are starting to catch on to this act, even the most devout fans. Now, in the next clip we're going to take a look at, he just talks more crap and says what an easy fight Belal Muhammad is. And that Belal's going to duck him now. Belal's ducking me. I mean, this is such a desperate attempt to get a title shot. It's crazy. Another undeserved title shot he wants. I don't think he'll get it, luckily. But you never know with Dana White. Daddy Dana might say, you know what, Cole, I really like the way Colby rims me in public. Let me give him another title shot.
On a short turnaround, what's he going to do to me, honestly? He's got nothing for me. It'd be an easy fight. And, you know, he's going to look to duck and pick and choose all the easiest fights he can. But guess what? He's not a star. He has no pull in the company. So he's going to do what he's told like a good little boy.
He's going to look to duck and get all the easiest fights. This is projection by Colby. This is literally what Colby did. And he said, oh, he's not a star in the company. He'll do what he's told. Colby acts like he's a big draw and a big star. He fought Jorge Masvidal, who's a bigger draw than him. And they did under 400,000 pay-per-view buys. That is a fact. That is reported by legitimate sources. I'm not just pulling that number out of thin air. He sold under 400K pay-per-view buys. The lowest pay-per-view sales for like the shittiest UFC card is like 200,000. So Belal and Colby aren't that far off in terms of drawing power. And at least Belal has the Muslim fan base behind him. But to sit here and say, yeah, he's going to duck and look for the easiest fights. What? I'm going to do a video about Belal soon, hopefully this week. At his post-fight presser, he's like, yeah, I want to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. I want to show how good I am. I want to fight JDM. I want to fight Ian Machado Gary. I want to fight these new breeds of guys. You think if Colby would have won the title back in December, you think he wouldn't have been begging for like Conor McGregor or something? Yeah, that's exactly what he would have been doing. I want to listen to this next question too, because this just goes to show what a propaganda network this is right here. Submissive Radio propaganda, Colby Covington propaganda here. Listen to this question. Listen to the framing of this question. It's crazy. People who might not pay attention to sport, they hear this and they're like, oh yeah, maybe so. Listen to this.
A lot of people are saying it's going to be him and Shavkat next. So you could potentially be fighting Belal or Shavkat very, very soon. Who do you think will be the champ?
You could be fighting Belal or Shavkat very, very soon. He's acting like Colby's in line for a title shot. Let's take a look at Colby's resume. Okay? Real quick. Okay, so he lost to Leon Edwards. His last win was in 2022. March of 2022. I almost said January. He is 2-3 in his last 5 fights with 3 title shots. Look at the guys he's beaten. Jorge Masvidal, Tyron Woodley, Robbie Lawler. 40-year-olds, close to 40-year-olds at the time, on losing streaks, all out of the sport or out of the UFC. And this dude's acting like, yeah, you're going to be fighting Shavkat Belal. Basically like he's the #1 contender. What an absolute joke.
When you rock up for the next title shot, do you think it's still going to be Belal, or do you think it could be a one and done thing for him?
Yeah, I think it's a one and done type thing. You know, he's obviously on the right steroids right now. He's doing the right cycles. So
again, and this makes me think Colby might be taking some type of EPO or something. It's projection. He couldn't have won a title without steroids. I didn't win a title. And, you know, I claim robbery each and every single time and blame the ref. I mean, has this guy ever took responsibility for losing a single title fight? 2 of them which weren't really earned. At least one of them definitely wasn't earned. Yeah, he's just on steroids. He's got the cycle going. But the second he loses, potentially to Shavkat, all of a sudden he's a bum and he's not on steroids anymore, right? That's and the reason I'm breaking this down is because a lot of Belal haters are saying this as well. What a joke.
You know, he had a one night, you know, lightning in a bottle type performance, and you know he's the supposed paper champ right now, but no one cares. You know, he doesn't draw flies to shit, so it's not like he's gonna make any money with that belt. He's gonna do as he's told, and yeah, I think he will be one and done. I think I'll be.
You know what's hilarious? He's not gonna make any money with that belt. Guess what Belal Muhammad gets now? When you're a champion, you get pay-per-view points. Guess what Colby doesn't get? He claims he's a draw. He doesn't get pay-per-view points. He didn't get pay-per-view points versus Jorge Masvidal, which if you don't know, pay-per-view points are, you get a portion of every pay-per-view sale over a certain number. It can be structured differently in contract to contract. But for example, you get $1 for every pay-per-view above 400,000. I'm just making up a random, random number there. But he's like, yeah, he's not going to make any money with that belt. You know, okay, he may not sell the biggest pay-per-views, you know, in terms of, you know, compared to Conor McGregor or some of the other big names, but he's actually going to get pay-per-view points, unlike Colby Covington. You know, Colby Covington claims to be such a big draw. He doesn't get pay-per-view points. Now, in this next clip, and there's just so many good ones, this one, the media member actually does his job. I was actually smiling ear to ear when I heard this. Because what have I been telling you guys for a while? You'll never hear Colby Covington mention Shavkat's name. In his post-fight after fighting Leon, losing to Leon, and an embarrassing, dominant loss, he wouldn't even mention Shavkat. And look, the media member even points it out. I never hear you mention Shavkat's name. What do you think of Shavkat? And now he talks shit about Shavkat. You know why he did this? Because Shavkat is in line for the next title fight. He knows that. So he's not going to get the Shavkat fight. So now he's got to talk about Shavkat.
Title.
I've never really heard you speak about Shavkat before. What do you actually think of him as a fighter and this matchup between you and him down the track if he is champion?
You know, I don't think anything special is shit rat. You know, I think that, you know, the way he fights, you know, he fights very, you know, very tall, very high up, chin up in the air. You know, he almost got knocked out by, you know, the busboy from out back that's serving bloomin' onions, Jeff Neal. So
I think Jeff Neal would absolutely brutalize Colby Covington right now. I think there's a decent probability of that. And he's saying, oh, yeah, he got exposed by Jeff Neal. Imagine looking at Colby's style and comparing it to Shavkat and just, I mean, even think it's comparable. Shavkat would absolutely destroy Colby.
You know, he got exposed that fight. And then, you know, he fought number 9 Wonderboy's last fight. I don't know how that warrants a title shot, but.
He doesn't know how fighting Wonderboy warrants a title shot. Wonderboy's a scrub, basically, right? That's what he's saying here. I think he goes on to say that in a little bit, but we're not even going to listen to that. This dude was begging for Wonderboy Thompson. Begging for Wonderboy Thompson. He desperately wanted that Wonderboy Thompson fight. I think he still wants it badly because it's one of the few winnable fights in the welterweight division for Colby Covington. What an absolute joke. Now, next he talks about he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he makes more excuses for the loss to Leon. This guy can't ever take responsibility for a loss, ever.
Dude, I want to see them. They get sprained pinkies. They don't go to work for weeks. You know, I got a broken foot in 3 different places. I'm fighting 25 minutes in a world title fight. So, you know, now that I'm healthy and I'm coming back healthy, I'm going to shock the world and you know.
He's going to shock the world now that he's coming back and he's coming back healthy. You know, it's just a joke. I mean, this guy went on an excuse tour and he still hasn't let it go. I wasn't healthy. Otherwise, I would have beat Leon. You didn't even fight. And I don't even believe he actually broke his foot. I believe that's a lie. I don't believe that for 1 second. It's just an excuse. He did not fight in that fight. And I know, and you can tell by some of the things he said in this interview. Oh, he's so upset. Belal's undisputed champion. He did something I couldn't do in 3 tries when I was gifted a title shot. I couldn't even do it. I was gifted optimal circumstances to get a title. I couldn't get that belt wrapped around my waist. I didn't even show up to fight. I shit the bed, pissed all the fans off. Then I ducked Ian Machado Gary after calling him out. Or supposed call out. I knew he was ducking him from the jump, even though everyone told me you're just biased against Colby for his political beliefs. I told you he was ducking Ian Machado Gary, who's right. I'll take another victory lap right now in this video. But yeah, I mean, it's just a complete embarrassment. Now, in this next clip that I'm going to show you, he finally drops the act. I got to applaud Colby for this one. He finally drops the act, and this is actually real Colby here. This is real Colby here without his little dumb, delusional bullshit persona. He drops the act here.
I just know that my last fight is not a reflection of the fighter that I truly am. And I'm going to show the world who I really am. I'm going to make right for my last performance because that was a shit performance. The fans don't deserve that. The UFC doesn't deserve that. I love the UFC more than anything.
Finally, he admits it was a shit performance. He says, before he was saying, I proved I'm the best in the world. I was injured, and I went out there and fought hard for 25 minutes, and I think I should have won that fight. Those judges don't like me because I support Donald Trump. At least now he admits it, that it was a shit performance. Total shit performance. Did not show up. Those people who paid for tickets should have got refunds. Imagine you're a Colby fan. You went there, and you paid like $1,200 for tickets in like the middle section. And you're sitting there with your red hat on. And you're like, yeah, he's going to make welterweight great again, bro. And then Colby goes out there and doesn't even strike at all. And doesn't try takedowns at all. And just gets dominated for 5 rounds in a lackluster performance by even Leon Edwards. Imagine that. You probably threw your red hat in the trash on the way out. So at least he finally admits it. But then in the last 2 clips I'm going to show you, he goes back to just being Colby. This is Colby begging for fights he knows he'll win. He doesn't want to fight any legit contenders. You didn't see him in this interview. You didn't see him mention, like a Leon Edwards rematch. You didn't see him mention Kamaru Usman. You didn't see him mention Jack Della Maddalena. You didn't see him mention Ian Machado Gary. He'll go do an interview after every single one of them fights so he can keep his name relevant, but he doesn't mention any of them. Let's see who he's talking about here. And to be fair, he was asked the question, but listen to who he basically begs for a fight with here.
Person that he is. So, of course, I would love that fight. It's the biggest and best fight that we can do in this division. I mean, it's the biggest fight that he can get. There's no other fights for him at lightweight. He's cutting all these chromosomes. He's cutting so much weight to get to 155. He should come fight in a real man's weight class. Why is he fighting a little kid's weight class? So,
I thought he said the name in there, but he did not. He's talking about Dustin Poirier. So just now that you have that context, let's just rewind it and listen to that again. He's begging for Dustin Poirier.
Just the piece of shit person that he is. So, of course, I would love that fight. It's the biggest and best fight that we can do in this division. I mean, it's the biggest fight that he can get. There's no other fights for him at lightweight. He's cutting all these chromosomes. He's cutting so much weight to get to 155. He should come fight in a real man's weight class. Why is he fighting a little kid's weight class?
He'll never mention a top welterweight. He's like, give me Dustin Poirier, who's at the tail end of his career, who's a lightweight, career lightweight, used to be a featherweight. Give me that fight. And he's a bigger name than me. Dustin Poirier is a bigger draw than Colby Covington. What a complete and utter embarrassment Colby is. But it was so joyful. It was so joyful enjoying the cope. He is so upset that Belal Muhammad achieved what he could not. Now, in this last clip, I mean, it just speaks for itself. Listen to this. Listen to what he has to say about people scripting drama in MMA. He has the audacity to say that. He's trying to sell the Dustin Poirier fight here again. He's like, yeah, this is real heat, not like some of that heat people script. Like Colby doesn't have somebody, pay some homeless guy $5 to write in some lines. I mean, this dude has the most Family Dollar trash talk I've ever heard in my entire life.
Real heat behind it. We're not going to be shaking hands afterwards like some of these guys that just script all their shit and it's just all fake recorded stuff. This is a real beef. This is, a decade plus, at an old gym training together and having real heat against each other, So, I would love to get my hands on Dustin, but we know he's all talk. He doesn't walk the walk.
So there you go. He actually mentions Dustin's name there. What a complete and utter embarrassment. So let me get this straight. He wants nothing to do with Shavkat. He would KO Belal. He wants the Belal fight, but if he can't get the Belal fight, give him Dustin Poirier. Cut this guy from the organization. Cut him from the organization. Get rid of him. He ducked Ian Machado Gary. So in my opinion, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. He hasn't won a fight against a legit contender in, I mean, what, since 2016 when he defeated RDA, a blown-up lightweight? Colby just needs to stop doing interviews. He's not even a draw anymore. I would love to know the numbers that sold for Edwards versus Colby versus the numbers that sold for Edwards versus Belal. I bet you they're not drastically different. I think Colby did more, but I don't think it's going to be drastically different. I don't think it's going to be like crazy. Like it's going to be double for Colby and Leon. Nobody cares about Colby anymore. And I think the next fight, less people even going to care. Because even his most true diehard fans abandon him after that embarrassing performance against Leon Edwards. And now just, he waits till Ian Gary fights, he comes out and does an interview. He waits till Belal fights, comes out and does an interview. Instead of making excuses, why don't you actually fight a contender? This guy is a complete and utter embarrassment. He was humiliated in this interview by himself, and he is so jealous. He is so jealous that Belal Muhammad will go down in history as an undisputed welterweight champion, and he will be known no more than, oh, that's the guy that lost to Kamaru Usman, one of the greatest welterweights of all time. Kamaru Usman broke that guy's jaw one time. Oh, that's Donald Trump's Monica Lewinsky. That's all Colby will be known for when it's all said and done. Belal will be remembered as an undisputed welterweight champion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.